Hello and welcome to the drive home. If it's not too hot, maybe I'll actually get to record a full video of me driving home. Who knows though? Some of this could be unpredictable. Here I am in my truck. I've been talking about it a lot. And I recently solved a problem. I'll get to that in a minute. Once I get out on the street here. Maybe I'll angle the wing window towards the phone so that we'll get some air. I hate traffic, especially after a long day at work. It's super annoying. Oh, look, I have an opening. I'm going to take it. Why move out of first gear, you know? Well, simply because you can't go as fast in first gear. So here we are in second. Okay, so the problem that I solved was with my air cleaner and my choke. I was having a problem with cold starts, or really starting in general, and also high idling, but it's because parts weren't moving, and there's a reason. My old air cleaner base on my Edelrock air cleaner, I know, sacrilegious because my carburetor is a Holley, although Holley has air cleaners that are stamped, but they're pretty expensive, so I'm gonna wait off on that for a little bit, although I do really want one to complete the picture. But also love to get some valve covers that say Holley if I could, but oh well. Anyway, my base of it was, it went down. I can't remember the exact term for that, but there is an actual term that goes down, and it's like a little, instead of just being flat, it brings the air filter down, and there was a problem with that. If I had just set it on there on top of my carburetor, it would not clear my my electronic ignition coil thingy, my distributor. Is it HEI, high energy ignition distributor? Yep. So it wouldn't clear it, so I couldn't have the air cleaner on, so I had to buy a spacer for it, and I bought a metal one that was an inch thick. And another thing I did was I bought a carb spacer to go underneath the carb, so I had an extra 2 inches. But without the without the air cleaner spacer, it would still hit the distributor. So I had to fix that. So I had the air cleaner spacer, and it was made out of metal. The only problem with that is that it was too thick, so the little linkage for the choke, it wouldn't move, and if it did move, it would stick. So when I got it to move, it would stick closed until, like, at some points it would pop open once it got way further along than it should have been before it popped open, and so it was sticking, so I couldn't use that anymore because it was too thick. So what I did was I went to O'Reilly's and I got a teeny tiny little, like 9 or 10 inch air cleaner with a raised base for the air cleaner. So I was reusing a way smaller air cleaner than I needed for the last week, just so that my choke would work properly, so I could actually adjust it. And it's pretty close to where it needs to be right now, so I don't really have to worry about that anymore. But as soon as I got home from that, I went on to Summit Racing and a bunch of other websites, so that I could order a raised base for my 14-inch air cleaner. And so I ordered that, and I drove with the small air cleaner for about a week, and $12, and then a little extra in shipping later, which brought it up to about $20, so almost 10 bucks in shipping. It was at my doorstep last night at 10 p.m. And so this morning I put it on, and now it works great. Ooh, it's a El Camino over there. And now I have my 14-inch air cleaner back, and I have my power back, and my engine is running super well, and it's just so nice, and it sounds better. So there's that. I'm glad that I solved that problem. So now my choke operates properly, and I have the proper amount of airflow going into my engine. All right, Mr. Diesel. You know, at work the other day, I had a coworker. He's like, he just turned 18. His name's Colton, and he was saying how his truck is super loud. And I had a coworker too that had a Subaru, and once again, the 18-year-old. The 18-year-old was like, oh, all my friends, I have friends that have the same car, and it's like way louder and sportier. That's because that car had a sports package that his rich friends got. Now, this kid seems like to think that loud equals power. It does not. Are powerful cars often louder? Yes. Why? Because they make them louder on purpose. Oh, jeez. I do like loud vehicles though, but not too loud. I like the volume that my truck is at. I do not like the volume that diesel is at. It's, oh my god, it's like all jacked up and stance. Now I'm fine with having a little bit of a lift, but I don't think it's really necessary. I mean, my truck already stands tall enough with the tall tires it has. I don't think I really need to get anything bigger. And they do fine. They do just fine. And this truck has good clearance. So, oh god, I don't want to get close to this other truck again. I feel like this guy's a total douchebag. Kind of driving like one too. I almost want to race. We are passing Progress Road, which means we're making progress. Anyway, let's change gears here on you. This guy. Change gears here on you. I will be 21 in just a few days. Let's see what is it. It's Friday. I'll be 21. Saturday, Sunday, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. 6 days from now. Oh man. There's the El Camino. Bye. Oh, green light. And I am planning on having a good time. My dad and I have the same birthday. And we like to do the whole George Thorogood, one bourbon, one scotch, one beer thing. It's our tradition. Oh, come on. Now it's already turning red. City driving is bullshit. I miss the country. I don't want to move back to the country. The country is so much better. I mean, maybe not for all things. You don't have as many options for some things, but some of the options, even though you have less, are better than anything you have in the city. And that's a fact. So, suck on that, city living. things are closer, but for some reason, like where I used to live, I could drive 30 minutes and be in a different town. Now I drive 30 minutes, and instead of being 30, 40 miles away, I am 5 miles away from where I started, and it's stupid. Ugh. I don't know what to say. I'm kind of running out of ideas. Oh, green light. I better get to cross this time. There we go. Now only 2 more lights to go until I am on the home stretch. Oh, I'm hungry. I've skipped lunch yesterday and today because I was in charge of the produce department and my boss wasn't feeling well, so I took a couple days off, and it's a lot of work. I love being engaged though. Having that much stuff to do, it really keeps me engaged in my work, and I do like being busy, and it makes the day go by super fast. I just hope I ordered enough for tomorrow. This is the weekend. I guess we'll find out when I get there tomorrow. Yeah. Oh, there's that douchebag again. Coming up here soon on the road, there's this little brewery and pizza place that I would really like to try out in a week or 2. I would love it. I am intrigued. Oh wow, we're hitting a green light, sort of. If everybody would just start going. Passing the brewery place. Going through the light. And 3, 2, 1, shift into 4th gear because we're going 35 miles an hour. Here he comes around the bend, passing those 1, 2, I think there's 3 chevrons. If you guys didn't know, chevron is actually a shape. So, you know, now the more you know. Oh my God, we're going under the speed limit. Why? No! It's all because of the person going under the speed limit by like 15 miles an hour that we missed this green light. So fuck them. Well, I guess I can talk politics. I made a video a while back about how you should vote for Trump, and I'm going to change my stance on this. Now, this does not mean vote for Biden. This is my personal opinion, so yours may differ, but blah, blah, blah. Anyway, green light. Anyway, I don't really like Trump. With this whole coronavirus thing, it's shown me that like maybe he's skilled in some areas, but he's self-centered in some ways. He's not the kind of person that can admit that he made a mistake. And in a leader, I think it's very important that we have somebody that can admit that they made mistakes, you know? And rather than shifting the blame to everybody else, then you need to just admit that you made mistakes and maybe, you know, whatever. So I don't think he should be president just because of that. I think he's done other things well, and I think he has some good intentions. Like, I'm very happy that he reduced the price of insulin, because my mother's a diabetic, and that's very important to me, that instead of paying a few $100s a month for insulin, which is made from pigs, by the way, the cheapest animal to breed and slaughter, now it's a fraction of that, which is awesome. Saved my parents tons of money. My mom shouldn't have to pay hundreds of dollars a month just to live for that, you know? And so I think that's awesome, and it's something that's needed to be done for a long time, and I don't know why somebody else didn't do it. And then, you know, since the House and the Senate can't fucking get along and pass another stimulus bill, he signed an executive order to suspend payroll tax until the end of the year from September 1st, which again is an awesome thing. And my opinion is that we shouldn't have payroll taxes anyway, simply because it's your money and you earned it. And we should up the sales tax and get rid of the income tax, so you get to keep more of what you earn, which would be great. I mean, think about keeping another 12% of what, you know, you earn. Think about it. Like, that's $12 for every $100. So if you make $500 a paycheck, say you get paid weekly, that's another $50 a week, you know, like. And so that would make you an extra $200 a month if you made $500 after taxes. And so you should get to keep that anyway, I believe. And speaking of that policy, if that sounds good to you, there is one presidential candidate that will be on the ballot in, I believe, all 50 states, but thanks to the FCC and a committee created by the Republicans and Democrats, she might not be able to get up and on stage and debate. Her name is Jo Jorgensen. J-O Jorgensen. Look her up. She's awesome. She's a libertarian, and if you haven't heard of that before, libertarians are sort of the middle ground between everything. And they do this by having the main idea that the government needs to stay out of your own fucking business. It's your thing, okay? The government doesn't need to tell you whether you can have an abortion or not. Because if you say it one way or another, the people that support it are usually going to be supporting it with religious reasons and not actual reasons, you know? Not saying that religious is not reasons, but religious reasons should not and cannot constitutionally be labeled as law, because of, you know, you have the right to, you know, be any religion you want so long as you're not hurting people. And if you create a law based off of one religion policy or another, you are essentially making it potentially harder and being discriminatory. So that shouldn't happen. Anyway, I will be voting for Jo Jorgensen. She has many other ideas. Some of them I don't agree with, but most of them I do, and I think they're a great idea. Mostly because they give me and everybody else more freedom to just do what they want to do. The government is too big, and the government needs to scale itself back. Now, we have been slowly turning into a socialist country. We are a capitalist country. And I've noticed that a lot of people keep saying that, like, we have a democracy, we have a democracy. We don't have a democracy. If you look in the Constitution, it guarantees, that's what it says, a Republican form of government. And that does not mean a Republican Party. What it means is the form of government. The government is Republican, therefore you have representation. Okay? That is what it means. In democracy, it is majority rules, and that can be good. In fact, democracy, most free countries in the world are democratic. And what that would do is, since it's majority rules, the upside would be that you'd have the majority of the country on the same side. But what it also means is, say, this is a commonly used example. Let's just say you have a bicycle, and somebody else wants that bicycle, but you bought it with your money. And then everybody else votes, and 51% of the people decide that it's going to go to the other person. So a good way to illustrate that, actually, would be if you have a bike and there's two other people, and it's up to a vote. You spent the money on the bike, and you want to keep the bike. Okay, so you vote that you keep the bike. Those other two people vote that one of them gets the bike. and then they get the bike, even though you spent the money on it. I see that doesn't happen in a Republican way. So, but don't get the party Republican and the government form of Republican confused, because they're not the same thing. They are not. Republicans, they're just on the conservative side. There's not Republicans and Democrats. There's conservative and liberal. And actually, if you look at their policies, they're just becoming more and more alike. So liberals are basically just far more advanced Republicans at this point, because either way, they're going down the same path. They want to take away your guns, both of them. Trump actually supports red flag laws, which are totally unconstitutional. And it totally throws that whole saying, innocent until proven guilty, out the window. Because you can call up for your neighbor and then say, oh, they have like anxiety or something, they shouldn't have guns, you should take them away. And then they'll come and take away your guns, and you don't have a say in it. And then basically, until you're proven to be mentally stable, you don't get them back, even if you just have a little bit of anxiety. I have anxiety. I've never wanted to shoot anybody. So, you know, it's just stupid crap like that. And what we should be doing is, rather than voting against a candidate or voting for one candidate over the other because they're both pieces of trash, but we just want one piece of trash over the other, you should look at your third party options. And we need to work towards, and I don't think it's going to happen this election, but we need to work towards getting a third party up on stage that can be heard. Because if you look into the third parties, they actually have more of your ideas than you might think, and they might support you more. So you should really, really, really look into that. I really encourage it. I will be voting for Joe Jorgensen in 2020 this year. I will not be voting for Trump or Biden because I hate both of them. They're both very creepy and stupid, and Biden can't even hold a sentence together most of the time. He can't even remember where he is or who he is. So do your research into Joe Jorgensen. Maybe in the description I will post a link to her website and stuff like that. So yeah, but regardless of who you vote for, please vote, because the only way to actually waste your vote is to vote for somebody that you don't actually believe you want to be president. Yeah, vote your conscience and vote, because it's important. Every vote counts, no matter what anybody tells you. And nothing is throwing away your vote as long as you're voting for what you believe in, because that's the whole point of America. So this has been Driving Home with David. This is a really long one. Wow. I actually got all the way home. Wow. Okay. Anyway, peace out.